What are you thinking about this background?
I like the trees. There we go.
I like that. Yes.
Yeah, the trees look nice.
That's the look.
All right, let's see. We got nobody on. No, I'm joking. We got one person, two people. But no, I gotta wait for people to get on.
Yeah.
Jeez, before I started talking about Jane, don't read me another sexting message. Gosh, y'all here? Y'all can hear me, right? Hello, can you hear me? All right, great. I'm just making sure. All right, guys, we're gonna just jump into some of my thoughts before we continue. This has just been a hell of a testimony. Today's the first day of Cross, and basically what the Cross did today is they wanted to continue to basically touch on all the points that she made during the direct, and they wanted to basically adjust the narrative of a few things, shed a little bit more light on a few things. I noticed that there were a lot of things that she said that weren't necessarily, how do I put this? There weren't necessarily complete thoughts, and you could tell that during the direct testimony. So the Cross basically got the rest out of it. There was a lot of sexting today, guys. Like, I don't know, it was a lot for me. At some points, I just stopped writing down the text messages, and I just started writing down sexting. At some point, I just started doing that because, honestly, it was just too much. Because basically, the defense was trying to show her that, hey, look, lady, it is true that you did these things, but it's not true that you did them against your will. And that was the theme of it today. Now, one of the things I gotta say is I could see the direct really pushing the button on fraud. The direct was, remember, the sex trafficking charge is through force, fraud, or coercion. And I could see them really, really pushing the button on fraud for the direct examination. However, and remember, fraud is just basically you're misleading somebody. And remember what I told you guys on Friday, on my same live on Friday, it's really tough to say it's fraud when it's just the lover boy method, when it's just like, hey, baby, I want this, or I want that, or can we do this, or can we do that? That's really, really tough to try to say that's fraud. All right, so basically, they were doing that. And I had a thought in the courtroom today. I had a thought. My thought was, with all this manipulating that she's doing, is she trafficking him? Now stay with me. Stay with me. Is she trafficking him? Give me a second. Let's get to my notes here. Somebody in the comments, let me know what you think sex trafficking is. Okay? Let me know what you think sex trafficking is. Let me know in the comments. This is a really interesting thing I'm about to say. I'm about to bring this up. A really interesting thing. Anybody?
Can too.
Can I see? Let me see. Can't see yet.
Cannot. I don't want to
Okay,
learn more.
it's all good. Don't worry about it. So guys, using someone against their will for sex for profit. Yeah, that's basically a really good definition. Basically what you're doing is you're forcing somebody to do a commercial sexual act, so that would be for profit or money exchange, a commercial sexual act through force, fraud, or coercion. So you're forcing them, maybe that's physical abuse, or maybe you're physically making them do it, or coercion, so that's like threatening them or stuff like that. And then there's fraud, which is just basically lying to them, right? So in this particular case, she was not forced to do anything. There was no physical force. They tried to touch on coercion a little bit with him getting into an argument with her and him saying, I'll send our sex tapes to your baby father, which, I mean, that had nothing to do with the actual freak off or anything like that. And he's been telling her this entire time, every time that she wants to, she complains about any sort of sex thing or any sort of thing about being jealous about another girl, He is telling her every single time, all right, we could just break up then. And obviously break up means that she's not going to be getting the money anymore. And if she's not getting the money anymore, one could say that that's coercion because according to her, he's threatening a roof over her head. Okay? So we'll get there in a second. But then I started thinking, throughout the entire day, they're reading text message after text message after text message. I'll get into a few of them, but they're reading a whole bunch of text messages talking about how, you want to pull this up a little bit? Yeah, the stand. They're having text message after text message talking about, yeah, the stand. If you, no, put up. Oh, yeah, if it goes further for me, I don't think they can hear me. There we go, a little bit better, there. Yeah, yeah, they got text message after text message here talking about how, oh, I love it, I can't wait to see you, I can't wait to do it again, all this kind of stuff. And what she was saying over and over again is, well, I only did that because that's what my lover wanted. And I only did that because I knew that's what he wanted, I knew that's what he wanted to say, and I knew that's what he wanted to hear, and stuff like that. To me, then that's fraud. If it's fraud with him telling her what she wants to hear so that they can come hang out and do what he wants to do, right? Couldn't it be fraud for her telling him what he wants to hear so that they can all hang out and do what she wants to do? And at the same time, when they do hang out, they do a little bit of what she wants, which is just us two. We can hang out, we can sit down, we can be in the hotel alone and that stuff. But then they also do what he wants to do, which is that's when it comes to, you know, the commercial work, the commercial acts, because you're transferring money, right? So it just went to my mind like, she's just as manipulative as he is, right? The question is here, but if she was getting money from her baby daddy monthly, it wouldn't make sense, something, that disappeared on me. But it wouldn't make sense. So I got you with that. I got you with that. We'll get there. We'll get there. She kept saying that it's a roof over her head, and that thing kept pissing me off. And I'll tell you why, and I told you guys yesterday. I'm going to tell you again today. This woman did not need to get a $10,000 a month crib. She was in a $1,400 square foot apartment before moving into a 5,600 square foot house. Let me repeat that to you. She was in a 1,400 square foot apartment before moving into a 5,600 square foot house. Okay? 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. It's her and her part-time son. And when I say part-time, it's because the child's also going to be spending time with the father, and from what I've understood, the child also spends a lot of time with the grandparents. So it's half the time it's just her in there, and she need a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom home. And then when I say I'm gonna break up with you, all of a sudden it's I'm threatening your roof over your head. Sounds crazy. So let's get into the stuff for today, okay? It was Miss Garagos. The heck. It's raining a little bit, guys. You have you know what, I'll just use the back page. We got Miss Garagos. She's the one doing the cross, okay? She's the one, just so you guys know. Yeah, she's the one, just so you guys know, that is one of the lead attorneys, and she's also pregnant. She's also pregnant, so, no, it's all right. Just, if you don't want to hold that for me, it has something on the back of it. Just don't touch it. I don't know where it came from. I think it came from the tree or something. But she's also pregnant, which also, that's one thing that, you mind just take a photo of it, and then you can throw it away. Just because it has words on it. Yeah, so she's also pregnant. So this is a pregnant woman doing the cross-examination, all right? There's a pregnant woman doing the cross-examination, all right? Then we've got, there you go. There you go. All right, perfect. All right, let's start in the beginning, in the morning. We've got just a regular back and forth. They're asking, says, I'm glad you are able to have these lives now. Yes, so am I. I appreciate that. Yes, we can finally do it. You know, you need a number of views and a number of likes in order to do that. And this channel is obviously less than a week old, right? And so this is only my 3rd live. So I appreciate the support, guys. So yes, we got a voicemail or a voice note. This is from Puff. This is in the morning, all right? He goes, get in your bag. And he goes, and what get in your bag means is basically, you know, hustle, do what you got to do in life. He's trying to give her encouragement. He's speaking about the other day, and he goes, "You're my crack pipe." He goes, "You're my." He called her a crack pipe. He said, "My new name for you." He said, "That's my new name for you, crack pipe." What he's trying to say is basically, he's a crackhead, and he's addicted to her, and she's the crack pipe. Okay. He goes, "We had so much fun," and she then texts him back, says, "F or die trying." So this is something that they had like a pact between the two of them. F or die trying. Apparently he was saying this to her sometimes, F or die trying, which is crazy, the F or die trying thing. That's nuts when you think about it. Because you think about what was actually happening in those hotel rooms, right? In those hotel nights. Sometimes she'd have like multiple dudes, and sometimes she'd have multiple rounds. So what he was really saying to her, and what she was also agreeing to, was, I'm gonna take all the I can, or I'm gonna die trying. We can't make this up, man. We can't make this up. She's a crack pipe. She messages him back, F or die trying. Then she sends him a voice note. The voice note says, "Hi, my love. Ha 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 ha. Crack pipe. It's so real for the both of us. It's mutual. Big celebration for you. I had so much fun in Turks. Turks was amazing. I'm so happy. Everything just feels good. Health is wealth. I love you. I love you so much. Focus on health and wellness this week." So this is paraphrased a little bit, but I was jotting down as much as I could hear. All right. But that's basically what she said. Okay. Then he goes, "Yay, 2-year contract." Because remember, when they were in Turks the second time, he gave her a 2-year contract, which said, "I'm going to basically take care of you for 2 years. I'm going to give you a $10,000 allowance." Remember, she asked for $15K, and he was a negotiator, apparently. And it ended up being only $10K a month. Only, apparently. And then she spent the whole thing on the crib. All right. So going back in my notes, she goes, "I'm a lucky girl." And she goes, "I really loved every moment with you." Okay. Now, here's the important thing. And I wrote in my notes right here, I wrote, "This goes to knowledge." In order for somebody to be considered a S trafficker, okay? In order for somebody to be considered an S trafficker, the person who is doing the S trafficking, they have to know that the person doesn't want to do it. They have to understand that that person doesn't want to do it, and they're forcing them beyond their will. But if you've got a girl messaging you all this stuff, "We're both the crack pipe. I'm addicted to you too. I had so much fun." And obviously, we know on that Turks crib, they had those hotel nights. On the trip, they had those hotel nights, right? Everything just feels good. I'm so happy with everything. Health is wealth. Oh, our 2-year contract. I'm such a lucky girl. Now we're talking about somebody who's misrepresenting the truth. And if they're doing that, how could I now have the knowledge that you don't want to do it? Right? If we're having a 3-year relationship and all you're telling me is how much I love it, we're going to get into this because the whole day is riddled with that. It's riddled with sexting. It's riddled with it's worse than the casted text messages, to be honest with you. There's just so many voice notes and messages. And I know you guys can't hear the voice notes, but the voice notes are like, haha, laughing. Ha, I love it so much. So it really starts to play that line that the person can't S traffic you if you don't want. They wouldn't know if you don't want to do it if you keep saying you want to do it. All right. So she keeps saying, "I want to parcel out that it was just that I was referring to him." She kept saying just him. So this is when the defense attorney, Garagos, kept asking her, "So you liked it? So this is what you were saying?" And she was like, No, I liked it just with him. It was just the parts with him. When we were doing our own thing, during these hotel nights, oftentimes she'll bang the dude, and then her and Puff will go and do their thing, and then she'll go back and bang the dude a little bit more, or maybe before her and Puff have alone time, or maybe after. However, you're saying that on the stand now. You were not saying that at the time in those messages. And she kept saying, "I just want to make sure you guys understand. When I was sending those messages, I was only talking about just with him. I only wanted him." It don't work like that, sweetheart. Obviously, what you say back then, whether it's recordings, phone call recordings, audio recordings, text messages, it doesn't matter. What you're saying back then holds way more weight than what you're saying years later on the stand now, after you've been meeting with the government multiple times and getting your story straight. And they even asked her today, did you have a practice cross-examination with the government? Exactly. Did you have a practice cross-examination? For you guys don't know what that is. basically what happens is the government says, we're going to pretend like we're the defense attorneys. We're going to pretend like we're the defense lawyers, and we're going to do a practice cross so you're prepared for the questions that they might ask you. All right? And by the afternoon, we could tell that it didn't matter how much preparing she did, she unraveled by the end of the day. She unraveled. She even asked for a break. So just stick around, we're going to get there. But she even asked for a break. She said, I need a break. Let's continue. She goes, I know it's big, but for everything I'm looking for, it's perfect. Now she's referring to sending him photos of the crib that she wants. So she wants this crib, and she's sending him all these photos of the crib that she wants. I know it's big, but for everything I'm looking for, it's perfect. It's in a gated community. It's 25 minutes from your place, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, brand new home. Nobody's ever lived in this house before. Brand new home, brand new built. The landscaping wasn't even done yet. She said they put in the request for the landscaping, and they're just waiting for the landscaping to be approved for it, okay? So in order to move into this place, first month, last month, security deposit. $10,000 a month rent, $10,000 for the first month, $10,000 for the last month, $20,000 for the security deposit. That's $40K just to move in. $40K, empty house, no furniture. He gave her another $20K for the furniture, in which she blew through, and then she wanted another $15K. So we're talking now $60K plus another $15K that she wanted for the furniture, which is $65,000, basically just to move into this crib, okay? And this is important for us to remember, because a lot of people are like, yeah, but you know, this is what rich people do, and this is how he controlled her, and this is whatever. Guys, it's very important to understand this, because what she's claiming and what the prosecution is trying to claim is that she was being, this is fraud, and she was being tricked. But clearly we know what she wanted. We know what she was trying to do, right? We know that she was doing something to get something in return, okay? Says Diddy wasn't keeping busy enough making his money to having these convos with bimbos. Oh, we're not even done. There was a lot of girls. We got names of some girls. We got names here. I'm gonna go give you guys some names. Some of them are famous. Y'all know them. All right? All right. So she goes, once he agrees to getting her to place, she goes, 7 so's. Thank you so much, baby. She texts him, okay? Now, here's the issue that she kept saying, you're threatening to take the roof over my head thing. Issue number 1, you didn't have to spend the $10K a month on this apartment, on this house. You could have got a house for less than $10K a month, considering that your old apartment was only 1,400 square feet. This apartment is now 5,600 square feet, and it's just you and your part-time son. You didn't need to spend the entire $10,000 a month that he promised you in the love contract for this apartment. That was your choice, and therefore, you can't say that's threatening a roof over my head. Go get a cheaper apartment. You could have done that. However, moving forward, if you guys remember the direct examination, it was asked when he said he was threatening to break up with you, what did he say in regards to the apartment, in regards to the allowance? He was giving her 90 days. He said, how much you need? I can give you 3 months, and then I'll cut the allowance off. Because if we're not dating, you're not my girlfriend, I don't need to be giving you allowance, all right? So he said, I'll give you 90 days. That's 3 months of rent. If you get evicted, or if your landlord says, I'm gonna sell this place, or I'm gonna move back into my place, do you know how much you get? 60 days. He gave her an extra 30 days. He gave her 90 days. However, the defense attorney brought up a really good point. She said, well, that's 90 days that he gave you, right? 3 months. But then you already paid 1 month rent for your last month. So that's covered. So that's 4 months now. And you also have a $20,000 security deposit, which is also a value of 2 more months rent. So really the value that you really had, you could have actually stayed there 6 months. 6 months before you had to find a place. That's not threatening a roof over your head. That's not putting you on the street. You got 6 months to find another place, find a job. You got 6 months to make some money, right? So that whole thing that they kept going over and over, the direct examination, it's nonsense. Oh, and then he would always throw it in my face and threaten my roof over my head. This woman is more spoiled than my youngest brother, okay? More spoiled than my youngest brother. She's like a brat. That's all I got. Understand? I'm just like, is this serious? And she's getting child support by her rich baby daddy. She's also getting child support from the rich baby daddy, right? Okay, a lot of the ladies in the overflow, by the way, they kept saying, why can't she just get a job? It's actually crazy. So that's 6 months. Do you know what she said in response to the defense attorney saying you actually really had 6 months? She goes, oh, when you put it like that way, I guess I really didn't even really think about it like that. When you put it that way, yeah, I guess you're right. What are we talking about? Gosh, I hope you guys are sitting tight because there's a lot more moments like this. I bet she's not even that hot either. I can't comment on how she looks because you guys might find her, and I got to get back into the courtroom so I can continue to report this stuff to y'all. But she's about 40 years old right now. She was 35 when she met him. All right. So again, the brat stuff goes on, right? The brat stuff goes on. She goes, they got into an argument, right? And her text to him was, I'm not Cassie. I could make your life hell. This is the girl that you gave, they added it up, 150K he gave her. He gave her 10K just for coming out to Turks and Caicos when they first met for 2 weeks, saying, yeah, I took you away from your son and you could have been maybe making some money on Instagram. So here's 10K just because you spent time with me in Turks and Caicos for so long. Here, take that. When you add up all the money for the first year or year and a half or 2 years or whatever, over 150K. And she said she's gonna make his life a living hell. She's not Cassie. Why did you say that? I was infuriated with him when we were arguing. Okay? I was infuriated with him while we were arguing. Remember, just to give you, and they jump back into it, just to give you guys a reminder, her friend was dating Diddy when she met him. Then she started banging Diddy while he was dating the friend. And her child's father, why is he giving her so much money? Because he's a freaky dude. He wanted a freak off joint. And we'll get there. That's basically what he wanted. She was the one that would do all the freaky things that he liked. And she used to throw that in his face a lot. He even said, you keep throwing sex in my face every time we argue, because she kept bringing it up. And she would say a lot of times, because when he met her, he told her, I'm polyamorous. I'm going to get there. But he said, like, I have multiple women. I got multiple girls. You're just one of them. And she was fine with that until she realized the other girls didn't have to do the freak off stuff, and they were getting treated better than her. And so when she met him, she knew what it was. All right. But she would say that the other girls are boring and she's the only one that can excite him. Now, whether that's true or not, it was true to her. So that's what, in her mind, that was her value. And for him, I don't know how much that is to him. I mean, an extra 150, 200K a year to a damn near billionaire. I don't know how much extra that is to him. But, you know, the fact of the matter is he was giving her a lot of money. So you're right about that. So when they started dating, they had to keep it a secret. They wanted to keep it a secret because he was still dating her friend. And then the friend ended up getting married to a guy in Europe. But then also because he has a problem with her child's father, they don't see eye to eye. Because of that, they wanted to keep it a secret. So they kept this relationship a secret. Now, the reason why this is important is because she would get mad when she sees him buying his other girls' stuff on Instagram. The other girls would post stuff on Instagram and whatever. But because they wanted to keep their relationship a secret, she never got out on Instagram. She was always hidden. It was always in the house and put you in the hotel. Can't go to events with you. I can't do this stuff because the relationship is secret. So the defense wanted to bring that up. Like, it's not just that you were the freak off chick, but also you guys can't really go out in public because you're trying to keep this a secret. So there was one instance in which they got spotted by the paparazzi. Now, they were with other people, but she freaked out and she started texting Diddy's chief of staff, KK, started saying, hey, just want to let you know, we got, I think she called it, we got hacked. We got seen by the paparazzi. So it was like a damage control thing, and they ended up taking care of it. But that just went to show that the fact of the matter is, it was supposed to be a secret relationship in the first place. So he was never looking at her like, oh, this is the girl I want on my arm. He was looking at her, this is the girl I want in the hotel, or this is the girl I want in the apartment or at the house, not really the girl I want outside. So he had other girls that were outside, and we're gonna get to those girls, okay? We're gonna get to those girls in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna drop some names for you guys in about 2 minutes, because y'all know them, all right? So They played a bunch of videos that we couldn't see of their trips and stuff like that to make it look like it's a great time. Obviously, we couldn't see those videos because this is a Jane Doe witness, so they didn't allow us, but I could hear things. So I wrote down what I heard in the music, in the videos. I heard music playing in the background. She was sitting with him in one of the videos. I didn't see that, but after the video, they said, "Oh, you were sitting with him? Is that him you were sitting with?" I also heard her saying, "Thank you, thank you, ooh, thank you, cheers, cheers." There's music playing in the background, and they're in a villa. They said that that was the villa that they were staying in Turks and Caicos. So that means that probably somebody was handing her a drink, and she was saying thank you and cheersing and cheersing. They played another video, and they said that it was on the beach. You can kind of hear the wind in that video, and they were on the beach together and stuff like that. Basically, they're just trying to show that there was good times. He was taking you out. He was doing some stuff for you, right? During the trip, he got her shoes, a bag, and a bracelet. She sent him a bracelet that she wanted. He bought it for her. He sent it to her. All right. He told you he was seeing other women, right? Is the question. She goes, yes. Question. What term did he use to describe the type of relationship he is or the type of man he is? She goes, polyamorous, right? What was hard for me was the imbalance in treatment. He also flew in other girls right after your Turks trip, right? Yes. You called his other girls names, didn't you? Yes. And I'm not proud of it. Oh gosh, this part made me nauseous. She's like, I'm not proud of it, but that's who I was at the time. You know, I called them very bad words. She goes, I feel badly about this now. I really do love women. That's what she said. I really do love women. I feel bad about this now. I'm not proud of what I called them, but I really do love women. That's what she said. So the defense attorney, here's the first name. Defense attorney says, and one of those women was Young Miami, Carisha? And she goes, yes. So now we know all that time we were seeing Diddy and Carisha together, that was one of his girlfriends too. So this was a hidden girlfriend. This was the freak off hotel joint. And then he had the one that he was in public with, which was Young Miami. Were you jealous of her? She says, yes, always. And also there was Gina and Jesse. Now we know those two. I know Gina's floating around on the internet. There's videos or interviews of her talking about their relationship. Then there was a Jesse. I don't know that one, but I'm sure if you guys do a simple Google search, you'll be able to find her too. So there's multiple girls. And you got upset when he bought Young Miami a Maybach, right? Were you jealous? Yes, I was jealous because he bought her a Maybach. So she ended up demanding that he get her a bag or some jewelry or something. So she had to go and get a bag or some jewelry. He had to go get a bag or jewelry just to kind of make her be quiet because she was so jealous that, again, she felt like she was doing the most. All right, brother, we'll talk, man. Yeah. And he was doing the most, all right? So for the other girls, she was doing the most, and the other girls were getting some stuff. All right, so let's keep it moving. They talked about him being basically an addict, right? She said on the second date, his hands were shaky. She said his gums were, her teeth were all messed up. She could tell he was sad and depressed, and she said she felt like he was an addict right from the start. That's what she said. Then she said, now looking back, I really do know, but at the time I thought that, yeah, he was an addict from the start. So this is what I was making a joke about at the lunchtime. The lunchtime I was making a joke about this. She goes, I said to him, we should take a trip to Thailand and go to rehab. Now, she is not an addict. As a matter of fact, she says that she mostly only does drugs with him. So she is not like a Cassie. Cassie was doing drugs every day with her friend and all that stuff. This is not the same. This is not that. She said she's health conscious. She exercises every day. She does all that stuff, right? So why is she saying we should take a trip to Thailand? Shouldn't it just be you should go to Thailand and go to rehab? This is what this girl does. Like she wants to go on the trip too. She wants the trip. Just say, can you take me to Thailand? And while you're there, check yourself in rehab so I can go and have a good time. Like, that's what it sounded like to me. So it's crazy. He goes, what the hell, you think I need rehab? Something like that. She didn't say that was the exact words, but something like that. And she also recommended like remedies and stuff like that for his lifestyle and his drug use. He was, I think I mentioned this, more manipulation, exactly. I think I mentioned something like this on the lunch break. I mentioned that he was also on Xanax, Prozac, and antidepressants. Those are all prescription medications. Those are all prescription medications on top of the illegal medications that he was already doing. So he was really, really taking a lot, all right? According to her, all right? She said he he could not handle the war in his mind. That's what she said. He couldn't handle the war in his mind, all right? She also said that she loves spending quality times. His favorite show is Dateline, by the way. While he was with her, he did have one surgery. It looked like it was on his leg because he was on crutches. And all she really wanted was quality time. She said it was sacred to her, all right? She also told the government that she deeply loved him and enjoyed every minute of the hotel nights. That's what she told the government. I deeply loved him and I enjoyed every minute of the hotel night. Okay? She says that he's the most affectionate during those nights. Those are her favorite nights. He's the most affectionate during those nights. All right? Then said, couldn't say no because I wanted to make him happy, to be the one that he desired. You hear that? She told the government, I couldn't say no to these hotel nights, even though I didn't want to do them, because I wanted to make him happy and be the one that he desired. She's competing with the other girls. She's competing with them, but she's competing in her own lane because she is the hotel night lane. She's not the Young Miami. She's not the Gina. She's not the Jessie. She's that lane. So she's trying to do everything in that lane to quote unquote keep him happy and be the one that he desired instead of desiring the other girls. This is jealousy. And this does go back to the defense's opening statement. In the opening statement, the defense said, this is a story of jealousy, toxicity, drugs, alcohol, basically wild stuff. Not the story and freakiness, not the story of sex trafficking. Okay, more fluff, and I don't see how this helps the prosecution at all. Her entire testimony should be omitted. Well, I think that if I don't think the defense would want this testimony omitted because it really does prove their actual point. But yes, it's a lot of fluff. They're just throwing so much sauce on this. It's crazy. Let's keep it moving. I got 5 red points here. This whole page is red points. The red points is the one I want to make sure I tell you guys. All right. So midway through the relationship, she came across a word called a cuck. Okay. I only learned that word this year from this trial, but she obviously was in a relationship that had these weird type of things, right? And she said she started doing research because she wanted to understand this relationship a little bit better. Like, why are you having me banging other dudes in front of you type thing, right? This is weird to her. So she wanted to understand it. And she came across this term, a cuck. What Puff used to say is he's a voyeur. In other words, he likes watching. What she's saying is he's more of a cuck than a voyeur. That's what she said. In my opinion, he's more of a cuck than a voyeur, okay? So here is the key to this. After a brief objection by the prosecution, the defense actually got her to explain what a cuck is to the jury. Explained it to the jury. They got her to explain it to the jury. Why is this important? Because there's so much that people don't understand about this stuff. It's weird. It's freaky. It's like, why are you even doing this? It's just so many things that people don't understand about it. And the fact that she actually broke it down means that he doesn't have to get on the stand and explain what this is, what this whole kind of weird, freaky lifestyle, swingers lifestyle is. She explained it. They said, based on it was genius. The way they broke this down was genius. They said, based on exactly this whole cuck thing, what did you learn? Like, what did you learn that it was? She says to the jury that cucks get pleasure or satisfaction from seeing his girl get pleasured from another man, get pleasure from another man. So she explained that to the jury, that it's weird and it's not common, but this is a thing, that this is an actual thing. So now when you start putting it into the perspective, like, yeah, I know it's weird, but people do this. There's even definitions on the internet about it. There's things about this lifestyle. Even though it's an unorthodox lifestyle, it's still something that people do. It starts helping the jurors to understand that it's just weird stuff, but it's not criminal stuff. Because as soon as you don't understand that kind of lifestyle, it becomes kind of criminal to you. But when you start knowing about that lifestyle, you're like, yeah, I know people be doing that. I know people be doing that. So she explains that part. Then she says, also, cucks may sometimes be bi-curious and live out some of their sex fantasies through their girlfriends or through their women, through their girl. so that they don't actually have to do the act. So what she was basically trying to say was he really actually wants to do stuff with guys, but he gets her to do it, and she lives out that fantasy for him so that he doesn't actually have to do the stuff with the guys. But he fantasizes about it, so he gets her to do it, and that's what a cuck is. Well, that's sometimes what cucks do. I'll read it again. Cucks may sometimes, I see a couple people just jumped in. Cucks may sometimes be bi-curious and live out some of their fantasies through their girl so that they don't actually have to do the act. Okay? This was huge because she explained that part to the jury. And I anticipate that when the defense is starting to lay out their case, they're going to have a lot of people that talk about this stuff. You see how the psychiatrist came for the prosecution, and the psychiatrist talks about, why somebody would stay. I know it's confusing that somebody would stay when they're getting abused, but these are the reasons why. Well, they're gonna have probably a psychiatrist. This is a weird lifestyle, and I know it's weird, but there's something that goes on in the brain, and this is the psychology behind wanting to see your girl get railed by another dude. That's my guess. That's one of the things I think that the defense is gonna bring on the stand, because they gotta explain this weird behavior. They got to explain it, okay? All right, so let's continue, all right? Here's another thing that they got her to explain to the jury. Remember we heard about these freak-offs or these hotel nights being 24 hours, 2 days long, going crazy, these sex-filled, drug-filled parties, and she explained they're not actually doing the act of intercourse for that whole time. So what would you do during these hotel nights for 24 hours? She says, oh, well, we'd laugh, we'd dance, we'd listen to music, we'd have drugs, we'd talk, we'd role play. He liked for me to pretend that I was cheating on him and he was out of town, and she was, they were together, like married, and they would role play around. So she'd role play with the guy. This is like a whole production. Like it's not just bang, 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 bang for 24 hours straight. It's a party. That's why they call them parties, right? These freak off parties. It's kind of like a party, and they would even say to themselves, "Oh, you ready to party tonight? You want to party tonight? You want to party tonight?" So it's really a party. They're dancing, they're laughing, they're having a good time. Like I've done. Haha! Didn't he already get enough cheating from Cassie? I can't lie, guys. I've had just a couple friends over and move my coffee table in my apartment and play some music, and we dance around. Like, so I do that, and I'm not near anything like this stuff, all right? We're doing that without drugs. So imagine what they're doing with drugs in these hotel nights where there's like sexual fueled stuff going on, and they got everything set up from the lights to the outfits of what she's wearing and all that stuff. This is basically partying. And again, going back to the beginning of what the defense was explaining was that you were a secret girlfriend to start with. From the beginning, you guys wanted to keep your life a secret. So obviously, a lot of this stuff wasn't gonna be, let's go for a walk in Central Park. This stuff wasn't gonna be all of that. It was gonna be, hey, you coming over? I coming over, right? I don't know if any of you guys have ever been in a secret relationship before. I have not, but some of my friends have, and I know what it is. They're not going out for a date at the main restaurant where everybody could see them, right? They'll go out on a date, but it's going to be a home date, right? So that's kind of how this started, all right? Now here's the thing. I wrote game, set, and match right here, and I said, remember the consent text. We can end the video right here because I'm not going to. I'm going to get through the rest of the stuff, rest of the day. But we could end the video right here because this is the whole point of the S trafficking, okay? She goes, says right here. Also said she was very good at making everyone believe that she was enjoying herself and that she put on a good show for him to get off later. So they would videotape some of this stuff, and she set hand match. Oh, Coco Vanderbilt. Yeah. Shout out to her. She just won the French Open, I believe. Yeah, shout out to her. But yes, again, like, she said that when it was videotaping, when it was filmed, remember, yesterday on the stand, she said, I consented. Yesterday, she texted, I know I was consenting. So she's already admitted to consenting, okay? And then today, She says, I would put on a good show for him when he was recording it because I know he'd like to off to it later. Okay? He'd like to pleasure himself to it later and watch. So she was putting on an extra performance for him. And also, she says, I was very good at making everyone involved believe that I was enjoying myself. If you're making them believe that you're enjoying yourself and you're liking it, it can't be knowingly forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do. You convince them that you're liking it. You want to do it. Game, set, match. Yesterday you said in a text message, I know I was consenting. Today you said I literally was good at making them feel like I was enjoying myself, and I would put on an extra show when the cameras were on because I know he wanted to go off to it later. Game, set, match. Why do we have this witness on the stand? So if you guys are paying attention to these people across the street over here, in the tents, CBS, ABC is over there, Long Crime Network's over there. Who else is over? Fox is over there. All these guys over, CNN is over there. All these guys over there, they're gonna tell you something different. They're not gonna tell you this stuff. They're gonna tell you how she cried and he didn't treat her very well. And they're gonna tell you that stuff. They're not gonna tell you this stuff. I'm telling you guys the truth. This is the stuff that was literally said in the courtroom. We ain't twisting anything. Like you guys already know my saying, right? This is Jay, right? I give it to you straight, no chase. I don't know how to fake. That's it. This is what is going on in here, all right? She would also say to him during these sessions, she would also say to him, she would ask, you want me to do it like this? You want me to do it like that? You want me to do it like this? You want me to? Now, I'm a 6'3" tall guy, pretty manly guy. My voice is not like her voice, but if you heard her saying, like if you heard these voice notes and heard her voice in there, it's very, even sometimes when she would say baby, 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 even on the stand when she was saying baby, it sounds like a seductive like baby, even how she's saying it on the stand. So I could tell the voice that she would put on that she's talking about. Please like the video. Yes, please, thank you. I could tell. So there are instances that if she wanted these nights to end early, they would. They asked her, were there instances where you said, I wanted to end early? Yes, there were. Did they end early? Yes, they did. Now, she tried to beat around the question and talk in circles by saying, well, only after like he would still try to convince me to keep doing it and he would try to tell me that I should still do it, but that, no, it ended, okay? Look, the guy's horny, drugged up, party mode, and if you say, I'm not trying to, I'm not saying it's right to try to say, come on, girl, keep doing it, but I would expect it. I would expect it. I would not think that as soon as he's all in the mood and he's doing his thing and she's like, nah, babe, I'm not feeling it tonight. I wouldn't expect him to be like, all right, no problem. Let's just turn off all the lights. Let's get all the lights on. Put your clothes on. You leave. All right. She said she's not really feeling it. I'm going to expect it, especially from somebody like Diddy, who literally says, if you guys go watch that YouTube video, anything I want, I get. If I get it, I want. If I want it, I get it. Everything I want. So he literally, I would assume, is going to try to convince her, come on, just do it for me, come on. And then okay, fine, I'll try. Then she'll come back to him, nah, I tried, man, I really can't. Okay, fine, no worries, it's over. So a couple of them, they ended early. They also asked her, and they went through several examples. Of the fact that he was encouraging her to voice her opinion more. She's this type of a woman that she doesn't want to say too much of the wrong stuff because she knows he has other options. And like she said, she wanted to be the one that he desired. So she really does want to say yes because she wants to keep the situation that she has. I don't know how much of it is that she loves him and how much of it is the lifestyle that he's given her, but it's a combination of the two clearly. And so she doesn't want to say no, right? But he would say, you got to voice your opinion. You got to tell me how you're feeling. You got to tell me what you think. So after he encouraged her to do that, she would voice her opinion more. And then said, and would he, the defense attorney said, and would he respect your wishes? And she said, yes. So what are we talking about? This is not force, fraud, or coercion, right? Then they went through several examples of men that were dismissed when she wasn't wanting to participate with them. So sometimes they showed a photo of an ugly guy. She's like, is this the guy that you didn't like? Yes, it's the guy I didn't like. And you thought he was sweaty and smelly? Yes. And you thought he was ugly? Yes. And you tried, but you couldn't do it? Yes. And was he dismissed? And she goes, well, only after Sean tried to convince me to just give it one more try. But was he dismissed? Yes, he was dismissed. So we're here for S trafficking, guys. We're here for S trafficking. When you think S trafficking, you think like real stuff, not like having multiple girlfriends and partying with them and having threesomes. That's not what you think, right? And they tricked us. And they also probably tricked a lot of the members of the jury in their opening statements because they were expecting something different. If I'm sitting on that jury, and this is New York City, I live here. If I'm sitting on that jury, I know these people. I know everybody. I know the type of person, like all the different types of people. Not every single one, but a lot of different types of people. If I'm sitting on this jury, I'm telling you, there's people who are thinking like me. There are people who are thinking like me on that jury. Like, you guys made this big elaborate thing, and this is it. This is victim number 2. This is victim number 2. So, guys, think about this. Appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. All right. Then she goes, what about the Italian guy? He was dismissed, right? When you called him in New York? Yes. And I put on the side note, she can't just say yes or no. She keeps talking in circles. Like, she, if I ask you something like, hey, did you walk across the street at that time? Well, I only walked across the street because there was another car coming over here, and then the other car came here. Somebody told me, hey, you should cross before, and so then I crossed, but I didn't cross that quickly. But then when I finally got there, yes, I did. Okay, so you walked across the street, right? Yes. This is how she talks. She just talks around in circles, trying to give you an entire elaborate reason of why she did what she did, but that wasn't the question. The question was just, is this what you did? Because remember, she's not on trial, but she feels like she is, because you feel like you're on trial when you're on that stand. That stand can get hot. I've been on the stand before. Actually multiple times. Not many times, but I can count. I need 2 hands to count how many times I've been on the stand. And it can get hot. It can get hot. All right, guys. So that's that part. That's that part. There was one more part about that really annoyed me. After she dismissed the Italian guy in New York, okay? There's an Italian guy, didn't like the Italian guy, said that he was smelly, whatever. She didn't like him. After he was dismissed, she went herself and called Cabral, the guy named Sly Cabral, chef, the one that tried to extort her. She called him. They go, did Puff ask you to call him? No, but I just knew I should have. Well, how did you know that you should have? Well, there's just like this underlining energy of like, okay, what's plan B? What should we do next? So I just called him. I just knew I should. But you weren't asked to call him, right? No, I wasn't asked. There was just an underlining energy. Like this stuff, I can't. Then during her direct examination, she started talking about how they go, what else did Sean buy you? She goes, he bought me new teeth. He bought me veneers. They go, oh, he bought you veneers. And why did he buy you veneers? She goes, because he said he doesn't like my smile. He doesn't like my smile, and that's the reason why he bought me veneers. So today they go, do you like your veneers? She goes, yes, I like them very much. And then they go, are veneers bizarre for somebody to have? Do you know other people who have got veneers before? They're not bizarre, no. So she made it like he made her get veneers. Meanwhile, she clearly wanted them, and he wouldn't have got them for her if he didn't think that she would look good in them, right? I don't know. I've never bought my girl ugly clothes to wear, thinking, hey, I'm gonna buy this for you because I think you'll look bad in it. Obviously, he thought she would look good. She thought she would look good, and she said, yeah, I'll get the veneers. That's not a bizarre thing to do, but the way she made it sound like I had to get veneers. Then they asked her about her nipple piercings. Did you get your nipples pierced? Yes. Was it your decision to do so? Yes, at his request. We didn't ask that. You could have said yes. You could have said no. What did you say? I said yes. Okay. And then when you took them out, it was your decision to take them out, right? Yes. Because remember, one of them hooked on one of her clothing, and it kind of tore, and then it got infected, so she just took them out. Okay? They also said, and you did drugs with him, didn't you? Well, yes, I did drugs with him at his request. At his request? Wait, what do you mean? Because, the drugs helped me get through the freak-offs. They helped me get through the hotel nights, they say. The drugs helped me get through the hotel nights. This is the same thing that Cassie said. I wrote that. Cassie said same thing. The same thing that Cassie said. The drugs helped me get through. And this is what everybody say, that the testimony is the same. But guess what? Cassie was doing drugs every day. Not just the freak off days. She was doing drugs every day with her friends. And their friends went on the stand and testified to her doing drugs every day. Cassie went to rehab multiple times. It wasn't just the freak offs that she was doing drugs. I'm not doubting that the drugs helped them get through things that they didn't want to do necessarily, but that they just did to please this person. I'm saying that the drugs weren't just exclusive to this one thing, like he was drugging them. That's what you guys hear in the media. He was drugging them. Somebody even said the freak offs had the baby oil had drugs in it, and they were laced the baby oil was laced with drugs in it. And obviously that Cassie said no, that's not true. It wasn't. But my point is, they're just deflecting. So the question was asked, but you did drugs with Sean when you guys didn't do any of these hotel nights. You still did drugs, right? She goes, well, he would say, take this pill, and I would. I know that's probably infuriating a lot of you guys that are on here. Like, what the hell? Are you a robot? What do you mean? He said, take this pill, and I'm like, okay, fine, I have to take it. Are you a slave? No. The question that the defense attorney asked after that was, and how old were you? And how old were you? Because you're acting like you're a 5-year-old child. How old were you at this time? She goes, 35 years old. Listen, going back to the people on the jury, there are women on this jury, okay? There are 4 women on this jury. In my experience with women on jury, but just women in general, they put themselves, just like all of us, they're able to put themselves in that person's shoes. And a lot of these, out of those 4 New York women, grown in New York, I would be willing to bet 1 or 2 of these women are gonna say, well, no man ain't gonna do that to me. No man's just gonna be like, hey, take this pill. And I just be like, I don't want to, but here, I'm gonna have to take it. There's exactly no agency whatsoever, no responsibility taken, no accountability whatsoever, right? It's just, oh, I had to do it. He told me to take it, so I took it, I had to do it. You're 35 years old, you have an entire whole life. You had another, you have a child with another guy that's rich. And she was dating one of Puff's friends before she even started dating Puff. So she's accustomed to dating these rich, powerful men. And she's 35. She wasn't like, remember, Cassie was 21. Cassie was 21 when she started. So you might have a better conversation with Cassie being 21. But this woman is 35 years old saying he told me to do it, so I did it. All right. We're coming to the home stretch, guys. We're coming to the home stretch. All right. So she goes, and there are also some drugs that you said you didn't want to do anymore because they didn't make you feel good, right? She goes, yes. So you chose to do some drugs and you chose not to do other drugs. So what are we talking about? Clearly you can say no. Clearly you said, I don't want to do ketamine. I don't like the way that one makes you feel, but I'll do X. She says she'll do X and Molly because she likes the way that one makes her feel. So nobody's making you do this. Ain't nobody making you do this. You are doing this on your own volition, and then you turn around later and then say, oh, well, I had to because he threatened the roof over my head. Then we broke for lunch. No, this is just before we broke for lunch. This is actually pretty funny, guys. So she started organizing guys. She called the guys subtle because of, or I didn't see the rest of that comment, but I'll pull it up in a second. She says she started organizing guys. The first time that she got with the adult film stars, right? First time, she was the one texting them on Instagram. She was the one going on dates with them before they actually went and met with him. She was the ones texting back and forth with them, even when she wasn't with him. They were sending, the guys were sending her nudes when she wasn't with him. When she was with him, yes, but also when she wasn't with him, she would receive nudes. She'd flirt back with them, okay? All of this stuff without him telling her. The first time that she called the one on Instagram, he didn't tell her to call him. She said, well, he encouraged me to do it. And the question from the defense attorney, yes, but did he ask you to do it? No, he didn't ask me. He just kind of said, oh, I bet you can't handle that guy, or I bet you can't get that guy, or something like that. Okay, so he encouraged you. But did he ask you to? No. All right. So they went through all that to prove that there's autonomy here, to prove that you are a grown woman making choices for yourself, and you are not. You are grown, and And remember yesterday's testimony, he bent down to tie her shoe. The first instance of violence in their entire relationship, entire 3-year relationship, first instance in violence was he bent down to tie his shoe, and she smashed his head into the marble counter in the kitchen. And that popped off the fight that we talked about yesterday, where he's kicking down doors. I pulled my hamstring yesterday, so I can't be doing the bam anymore. But you guys seen the bottom of my shoes yesterday. All right. So and again, another part. This was just to talk about KK not knowing that it was drugs in the package that she was picking up, because they were trying to say it was a RICO organization. They just flew that in there real quick. And then this one I thought was really interesting. She had nicknames for the thruple. When I say the thruple, her, Sean Combs, and this particular entertainer called Paul. So he wasn't the one who initiated the first fight in the relationship. No, he was not. He did not. She started going crazy on him. She started yelling, and then she smashed his head into the marble counter. And then she started throwing hot candles at him, and the wax was burning him, and glass was going everywhere. When they say KK, who are they talking about? Good question. That's his chief of staff, Christina Carroll. That's who they're saying is one of the conspirators, one of the co-conspirators in this RICO case. Okay, and so she again. Then she says, "Were you close with KK?" She said, "No, KK didn't like me. She said I wasn't good for Sean." She even said that she thinks KK influenced Puff to mistreat her because KK said she wasn't good for him. No crap. Yeah, you're welcome. No crap. Of course. So remember Paul, guys? Remember yesterday when we were talking about how she said she didn't want to do the freak-offs anymore. She didn't want to do the freak-offs, and she just wanted him to bring her to Turks. She wanted him bring her to Turks, and he finally said, fine, I'll bring you to Turks. They had a wonderful 2 days in Turks or whatever. And then this is when they came back from Turks after that, and they were just having a great time. And then she said, out of nowhere, she says, I miss Paul. How you say I miss a guy that I never wanted to sleep with in the first place, doing these hotel nights with, but I miss him. And then she literally said yesterday, and in that moment I genuinely did miss him. He was sweet and nice and warm. What? So who does this? So then they call Paul. Come, let's have the hotel night, right? So that's from yesterday. So her, Paul, and Puff used to call themselves, get this, the trifecta. The nickname for that throuple was the trifecta. Okay? And not only were they the trifecta, they had an all-star lineup within the three of them, and they all had NBA player names. She was Kobe, taking all the shots. She was Kobe, taking all the shots. Paul was Shaq, slamming it down, dunking it down, throwing it down. And Puff was Michael Jordan with the smooth J in the corner. Okay? I added those taking the shots, slamming it down, dunking it down, and the smooth J in the corner, but I did not make up these names, okay? They called her Kobe, Paul was Shaq, and Puff was MJ. That was their trifecta, okay? Exactly, barf, I know, all right? She would also playfully call Paul her boyfriend. And as they referred to stuff in these videos, because we didn't say, oh, not Kobe, exactly. And as they referred to each other in these videos, she would refer to them as, these are my boys. I need my boys with me. I got my boys with me. These are my boys. Guys, I can't make this up. Can't make this up. I can't. Bert, Ernie, Shaq, Kobe, and MJ. Yes, exactly. And if you go back to the Cassie testimony, there's Pop, and BG as well. Oh gosh, this is just all. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. I'm telling you, this is wow. All right. So, for you guys who are wondering what these guys look like, I shouldn't be polluting your minds, but this is a big soap opera to her. It's so sad. Yes, exactly. I shouldn't be polluting you guys' minds, but I am going to tell you, just in case you guys are wondering, just for your own research purposes, please do not say that I told you to go and look at these things. I don't want anybody blaming me for their addictions, okay? I don't enable that stuff. But they would see these guys on this website called Blacked. Blacked. That's where they were found. I've never heard of this website before, never been on it. For those of you guys who know me, I'm not into that kind of stuff. Adult films is what I'm talking about. But Blacked, that's where they used to find them. So they found both Anton and Shy on Blacked. It's a website, okay? She reached out to Anton. He never traveled outside of California, so that's not gonna go to the Mann Act. Other things will go to the Mann Act, all right? And then that's basically it for the morning. Then we jumped into the afternoon. The afternoon was really quick. It was only about an hour and a half of testimony, okay? But I'll just run through it real quick. Again, more autonomy. He gives her options. He goes, it was a text back and forth. He goes, are you in the mood or are you tired, I think he said, or do you need a break? Because, you know, she's taking all these slongs. So he gave me a look like, she's Kobe. She's taking all the shots, okay? She's Kobe. She's taking all the shots. He goes, do you need a break or are you in the mood? So he gives her an option, and she goes, I'm always in the mood. What does this remind you of? Cassie. Remember Cassie? He used to ask her that. And her text message was, I'm always ready to freak off, right? When he said, let's just have one last one, she said, no, I don't want a last one. I want the first one of many to come, right? And pun intended there too. but this is it, okay? So anyways, he sends a laughing emoji. She goes, I'm just fine, baby. She laughed at this, like, you know, the double tap and you push the laugh, right? And then he goes, well, you always had the fantasy for you to set it up, so why don't you go set it up? He goes, you want to see me, she goes, you want to see me S some hard D in the hotel room. So she asked him if that's what you want, if you want to see me S some hard D in the hotel room. And she goes, I can go buy an outfit. Because remember, this is a whole dress up thing. It's like a party. So she would always dress up in an outfit and heels and all that kind of stuff, right? Then they called Sly for this. And that treat for when his album was done. Okay, then they wanted to call Sly for this. Now, he was working on the Love album at that time. Okay, this album that kind of started a lot of these allegations with the guy who worked on the album with him, who sued him, right? He was working on that album. And she goes, I thought you wanted to save Sly for when your album was done, because you wanted it to make, that was supposed to be the big kaboom, the big boom kabam. That's, I guess, how they celebrate him finishing up his album, right? So basically they end up doing it. He really likes, they said, why do you keep saying baby? Why do you keep saying that? And she goes, he really likes when I say my baby, because she put quotes on, like quotes, my baby. So they asked, why is those under quotes? She said she really likes when I say my baby, my baby. Remember I told you when she was saying like baby and stuff like that on the stand, it actually like sounded seductive. She did it in that voice, that seductive, like, I don't want to try to do it because it's embarrassing. But you could probably think about it in your head, like realize what that sounds like in your head, okay? She goes, I just locked in some flights, so therefore she was flying herself. She was not being flown in for the Mann Act for prostitution, right? She's booking. She's like, I'm just like, I looked at some flights. I can be there by, and I put ... because I was trying to write so fast and I couldn't see it. But then I wrote on the side. I said, so how is this sex trafficking? How is this? How are you being trafficked then, right? How you being trafficked? Okay. Then there's a voice note. Hey baby. Definitely super easy for, he sent a voice note. He said, you always say you want to set it up, so go and set it up. We had a vision together. Yes, that's what you're saying. We had a vision together of how this night was gonna go. She goes, hey baby, that's definitely super easy for me to set up, which means call Sly, whatever. But didn't you say you wanted for the album? So this is the same text, but now this is like the voice notes back and forth. And she goes, it's supposed to be the big grand finale, boom, big fireworks. And she's laughing as she's saying this. So she's like, it's supposed to be the big finale, like, you know, fireworks. And now we're getting to the end. And I say, what a contradiction, because she goes, I was trying to make excuses to not do it. So she's saying, I tried to tell him that it's supposed to be the finale. So we shouldn't do it now. We should wait till later. Right? She's laughing while she's saying that. But then she goes, I was trying to make excuses not to do it. I was feeding him what I thought he wanted to hear. So she's saying, I didn't really feel like this. I was feeding him what he wanted to hear, and I was trying to make excuses. It doesn't, that's a contradiction. If I'm making an excuse not to do it, that's clearly not what you would want to hear. So she said on one side, she's making an excuse not to do it, and on the other hand, she's saying she's telling him what he wants to hear. So I wrote, well, that's the contradiction. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, if you're trying to tell me I can't make it tonight, and you're making an excuse of why you can't make it, you're not feeding me what I want to hear. You're telling me the exact opposite of what I want to hear. So I didn't understand that part. And then we got into like the turning point of this entire cross. Now, just guys, so you guys understand, the entire day, Garagos was being very, very gentle with her and very nice and kind and sweet with her. And then we started talking about these damn Chanel bags under the threat of never seeing him again. There you go. Under the threat of never seeing him again. True. And we'll talk about that because he did say we never have to see each other again. He actually also said it's a free country, so you never have to see me again if you don't want to. But we could talk about that. But I know I want to get you guys out of here. I promised I would only be 70 minutes, and we're 4 minutes away. So I really want to get this to you guys, okay? So they started going back and forth, and Garagos was being very, very nice and gentle and kind to her. And then we got a whole turn in demeanor, and this is where she finally said, "I need a break." Okay. So they start going back and forth of this Chanel bag, okay? Doesn't sound like someone who does kidnapping either. So thank you for that. So they started talking about this Chanel bag. Oh gosh. He bought Young Miami a Chanel bag. Young Miami put it on Instagram. You know she be stalking Instagram. She even said she goes on other girls' Instagram and goes to their pages to see whatever, okay? So Young Miami posts this on Instagram, and she says Young Miami is a hoe, and she sleeps with your friends behind your back, and she's been ran through, and geez, talk about making noise. And she's been ran through, and then says, and on top of that, you bought her a Chanel bag, LOL. So Garagos wasn't actually even trying to get there. She was just saying, how do you know about the Chanel bag? But she was trying to ask that, and the witness wasn't hearing the question like properly. She was just saying like, yeah, well, he bought her Chanel. But she was trying to say, how do you know? You seen it on Instagram, right? And she was like, yeah, I saw it on Instagram. And then she goes, so why did you even bring up the Chanel bag? Why are you saying Chanel? Like, I don't understand. And she was trying to reference Instagram, but the way the witness took it was that she was asking, why are you talking about Chanel? What does that have to do with you type thing? And she goes, well, I got, he got them Chanel bags and blah, blah, blah. And then Garagos goes, but didn't he buy you a Bottega bag? Because she testified to that earlier. But didn't he buy you a Bottega bag? Like, why are you looking at what he's buying the other girl if you were cool with him having multiple girlfriends in the first place, right? And by the way, guys, this is just a lesson. This polyamorous stuff doesn't work. It does this multiple girl. If you're here and you're like, I could have 4 girlfriends at the same time and none of them are gonna get jealous, or I could be in a relationship with multiple people and they could all know about it and we're all also some big happy family. Here it is. This doesn't work, okay? He did it with Cassie and them, and he kept doing it over and over again, and he got himself in trouble with it, okay? It doesn't work, just to let you guys know. This is the proof. So then she goes, yeah, but, and he goes, so you're mad that he bought her, she goes, you're mad, but he bought her a Chanel bag, but he only bought you a Bottega bag. And she goes, how much does a Bottega bag cost? And the witness goes, I'm sure you have one. Basically, you tell me I'm sure you have one. This is what the witness told the lawyer. This is what Jane Doe told the lawyer. I'm sure you have one. So she's getting really frustrated. And then she goes, well, how much does a Chanel bag cost? And she goes, no, sorry, my bad, guys. She goes, how much does a Chanel bag cost? And she goes, how much does my body cost? So after this back and forth, how much does my body cost? I know you probably have a Chanel bag. Yeah, she's being sassy. I know you probably have a Chanel bag. You tell me how much it costs, and how much does my body cost compared to all this stuff. So the judge basically had to say, yo, answer the questions, my dear. Like, answer what they're asking you. So she goes, well, Bottega bag costs anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. And then she goes, and how much does a Chanel bag cost? She goes, I don't know. At that point, if I was a lawyer, I would say, then why are you upset? It could, for all you know, if you don't know how much it costs, for all you know, it could be less than a Bottega bag. Could have cost less than your bag. So why are you upset if you don't even know how much a Chanel bag costs anyway? Because your eye too big. That's what my grandmother used to always tell me. Your eye too big when you watch it, other people, what other people got. No, that girl will not say this part, guys. That girl will not say this stuff, okay? That's it. That girl will not say this stuff. So then she goes, but you got a Bottega bag and you got this. This is what the lawyer said to her. And you got this and that. She goes, no, I only got trauma. And that's when they're like, all right, let's cool out, have a 10-minute break, and whatever. So everybody's laughing in there, and she comes back in, and this is where I'm gonna end this, guys. She comes back in, and this whole time, this girl, this witness is saying, I had nothing to show for this relationship. If I had a dime for every girl I heard that say that, I had nothing to show this 3-year relationship. Though maybe it's like he bought her. Yeah, I know a Bottega bag is cheaper than a Chanel bag overall. I know that, but she's acting like she don't know how much a Chanel bag costs. She's obviously upset because the other girl got a more expensive bag than she did, and she feels like she's doing the most, right? But guys, this is where it gets crazy. She goes, I had nothing to show for the 3 years in this relationship. Lawyer cooked this girl with this. She goes, before you got into your apartment now, how big was the apartment that you're in? Before the house now that he's still paying for, by the way, even though you're testifying against him. 1,400 square feet. She goes, and how big is your house now? 5,300 square feet. Okay. And you have 2 businesses, right? Yes. One of them is a dress business? Yes. You design dresses? Yes. Did Sean invest $20,000 into your dress business and it's actually kind of making money now? Yes, he did. Did he ever, in 3 years, ask for a portion of the proceeds? No, he did not. Did you go to 2 trips in 3 years to the Turks and Caicos? Yes. Did you go to a trip to the Bahamas in those 3 years? Yes. So you went to 3 trips, 2 to Turks, once to the Bahamas in those 3 years, and many times to Miami and on his yacht, stuff like that. Yes. Okay. So you have 2 profitable businesses, 3 trips. You went from a 1,400 square foot home to a 5,300 square foot home. You got $20,000 invested into your business that didn't exist. It was like an angel investor and never had to pay anything from the proceeds. And you're explaining to me that you have nothing to show for this 3-year relationship. This is the level of delusion that this witness has. And they won't tell you this. I'm telling you, these people across the street are not gonna tell you this. This is a bigger brat than my youngest brother. You know the youngest is always a brat. This is a bigger brat than my youngest brother. Look, lady, you didn't have to do this stuff, but you did it because you partly liked him, cared for him, or loved him, and partly wanted this stuff to continue in your lifestyle. You turned around and said, nothing to show for it, what a waste. I have all these guys ran through me and all this and that, all because of nothing, all for nothing. Guys, I'm telling you, you don't have to agree with me, but there are people in the jury or on the jury that think like me, that think this exact same way. So do not be afraid, not afraid. Do not be surprised if that guy walks through those golden doors in a few weeks. Do not be surprised, because what they're telling you on these major media outlets is not the truth. This is exactly what happened. I'm giving you just the facts. If you really want to break down my opinion, stay tuned. I'm doing some videos tomorrow, actually. I'm going to be recording some videos tomorrow and this weekend. So I'm going to give you guys my actual opinion. But I'm just giving you the facts.